Hi, welcome to Engelgeist. My name is Dan Geist, and this is my channel. I am actually reshooting Scorpio's September 2019 video. I had it up this morning. I had it shot this morning, and was trying to upload it, and I kept trying and trying and trying, and it wouldn't go. I'm not exactly sure why, but it just kept failing to upload. So at this point, I'm thinking that maybe there's a different message out there for Scorpio, or a better message that Spirit wants to convey. I'm hoping that's the case, because I was able to then shoot and upload Sagittarius with no problem. So I am going to redo Scorpio for you guys and see what comes out. If any of you are interested in what the previous message might have been, you can certainly comment or send me a message at the business page, and I can tell you kind of what the general gist of the original reading was. It wasn't a bad reading at all. That's why I'm sort of surprised that it didn't upload. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to attempt this again because the Scorpios need their information for September of 2019. So if you have a sun, moon, rising, or ascendant in Scorpio, or possibly your moon, your Venus, not Virgo, not moon, your Venus. If your Venus is in Scorpio, you fucked, girl. No, I'm just kidding. If your Venus is in Scorpio, then you may want to watch this if love comes up. But we'll see what happens in the cards. So I am going to ask Spirit for new cards for Scorpio for September of 2019. What are the Scorpios dealing with? Maybe some indecision? Some technical difficulties, maybe? I'm not exactly sure, but it certainly wouldn't let me upload the video today. And I attempted like 5 or 6 times. So I said I moved on, I deleted the video, and I said, okay, let's do a fresh one. The energy feels fine. What I am noticing for the month of September, for most all of the signs, I don't feel any outside resistance, guys. The majority of the resistance that I am feeling... Is that... No, that's not what it was. The majority of the resistance that I am feeling, or sluggishness, is due to ourselves, not due to outside influences. So that's a good thing, because we can control that part of it. We can't necessarily control the outside part. We can, choose where we put our attention. But yeah, this does not feel like there's a lot of struggle. It feels a little bit slow, if anything, but not bad. It feels like at a moderate pace, if that makes any sense. The month may move kind of slowly, but not anything that, is boring or dull. It might be a little bit more dull than, say, a Scorpio would like, but let's see what's going on here. Why are we not able to get you guys a message today? Let's see, what do the Scorpios need to know? Okay, so this is your first card. This is the general gist of the month, kind of where you'll be resonating at the majority of the month, throughout the month, not complete month, but in and out. You'll be going in and out of this feeling, this card, this vibe, this energy. It'll just sort of be the theme for the month of September of 2019. Weird, this card showed up in your previous reading. Okay. This card showed up in a different position in the previous reading for Scorpio that I did this morning. I did it at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I did it very early after meditating. But this is the Two of Wands. This is the Purity card. I love this card. I was actually talking about this card being a lot to do with, in your previous reading, it had a lot to do with sort of spiritual connection, the twos being relationships, but of a spiritual nature because it is a wands. This card always represents for me when I'm giving personal readings, it always represents sort of the other side, or like guidance from our spirit guides, from our past loved ones, that sort of thing. And this card was in this position over here for you guys in the first reading. So what this is saying to me right out of the gate is that Spirit is moving in today. Spirit's like, no, we're not posting that video. We're going to post this message for these guys because this is what they need to hear. And I feel that very strongly, especially with this being at your central focus for the month. So and this also ties into sort of the overall of what the original reading was. Shit, now I'm sorry I deleted it. But the original reading was this sort of connecting to oneself and getting a deeper spiritual connection. Well, now it looks like somewhere along the timeline, you guys have jumped forward, and this is now your center for the month of September. So Spirit wants you to pay attention to it. Spirit wants you to connect. Spirit wants you to have a relationship not only with, say, your past loved ones or with your spirit guides, your guardian angels, whoever it is that you sort of work with spiritually, but also your connection to yourself, to light your path and to sort of really focus on the depth of that and the purity of that, the connectedness that you can have as you move through the month of September. Return to this card and this idea throughout the month. Remember to sort of like reground in who you are and where you're connected spiritually throughout the month of September. You're just going to need it, and it's just going to benefit you, and it's going to be extremely clean and extremely pure. It's funny, this was one of the outside influences, so it feels like this outside influence from the previous reading is totally moving front and center for you guys. So it's saying that September is going to be a very spiritually connected month for the Scorpios. You guys are going to be having experiences, interactions with quite possibly the other side, if not your own self, through deep contemplation, meditation, those sort of like practices that bring you closer to your more deeper spiritual connection. Okay. Now the next card, which goes here, is what I call the sort of the foundation card. This card tells me a little bit about what was going on in the past, that sort of brought about the cards being the way they are today. This card sort of opened the door for everything. So this is the Moon card. Okay, very intuitive card. A little bit on the depressive side, but very psychic, very intuitive. I'm gonna say this, it feels like you guys, when I look at this Moon card, it feels like the last few months leading into September have been very intuitive. And your intuitions, although they've been correct, they maybe haven't been quite so pleasing for you, or maybe they've brought you a little bit of sadness or a little bit of loneliness. I do feel like she looks a little forlorn or missing someone. This could be a past loved one. Also here, let's keep that in mind. So this could be past loved one connections happening for Scorpios in the month of September. Those of you that are watching, that this specifically, they can relate to this. This feels like intuitively you're missing somebody, or were missing somebody, or feeling disconnected. I feel that with the relationship between the two dolphins here, there's two wolves here, and they seem sort of separated. So at one point you were together, and maybe now you aren't, and it feels sort of like there was a little bit of a sadness going on for some of you specifically, okay? For the rest of you, I think that this is about your intuition sort of being your guide, and maybe other people not appreciating that, validating that, or acknowledging that so fully, or maybe you not acknowledging that, or bringing that to the surface. The moon is somewhat hidden in a way, and so to me, you might have kept your intuitions to yourself, or maybe didn't listen to them. Some of my Scorpios, you may not have listened to your intuitions so acutely, and maybe because of that, this card is now coming in like it's really time to deepen that relationship and really listen to the intuitive side of yourself, because the knowledge that you're getting is very strong, solid, intuitive knowledge, and you need to trust it. You need to form that bond and realize how pure and deep it is, okay? The next card is your higher self, or your soul, what it is working on, what it wants for you. Whoa, okay, we've got the Sun card. No problem, Scorpios. Okay, so something from this morning at 6 a.m. has shifted for my viewers that are Scorpios. The sun is looking directly at the moon. The sun is trying to warm you up. The sun is trying to like remind you, this is your spirit now trying to connect to your like past, your recent past, where maybe you've been feeling sad, forlorn, missing somebody, intuitively knowing things aren't the way they should be, and not really knowing how to go about fixing it. Whatever that situation may be for you, your sun is over here trying to like wake you up. Your soul is projecting the energy of the sun, which is life-giving. It is in perfect balance to the almost the antithesis of what you have been going through in the past, in the recent past. If there's been any lack, or there's been any doubt, or there's been any sort of intuitive hits that have brought you some sadness or whatever, this sun is about ready to like come forward and wash it out, balance it out, so to speak. Not necessarily let go of it or say that it's wrong, because the moon is just as, to me, in my mind, sign. The moon is the counterbalance to the sun. So I love that these two cards show up together. This is like no joke. This is definitely a balancing out of whatever it was that was going on for Scorpio previous that maybe was not working or not feeling quite right or trustworthy. Your spirit is on the other side of things, working with this sun energy to bring you guys about to a place of really having trust. There's also some abundance in this card. There's some transformative abundance. You see these piles of money. I see these people walking on the beach. There's things in this sun card that says, Scorpio, if you decide to build this relationship with yourself and thus, deepen this relationship with your spirit or your guides, or both for that matter, you are going to be able to trust some of this intuition that maybe you weren't able to trust in the past, and bring it forward with this energy from your spirit, which is the sun, and start to create some really wonderful and magical, well-needed things that you've been desiring for some time now. And Lord knows you deserve it. So the next two cards are the outside influences. These are cards, excuse me, I need a sip of water. Pardon me. Okay, these are cards that are influencing us during the month of September. They're not necessarily, they can be people or events, but sometimes they can be things more vague, like energies or belief systems that are having an effect or an influence on us. They're not necessarily of us, they're just around us, kind of affecting us. So we have the Sage of Worlds, which is the Master card. Another kind of nicely powerful card. This is about mastery. This is about worlds being that of financial matters, material goods, wealth, career, abundance on a material level. This card here is the mastery of that. This is about the hard work that gets put in and the creation of that. Also with this card, for me personally, I look at this card and I interpret this card. I see the face of God here looking down upon us. I see all of these old men that are hiding in the background as spirit guides for this woman here as the central figure of the card. And the great buck is like Mother Nature, right? And so for me, this feels like the universe is here to teach us. And this is what our soul is also working on. Our soul has got the energy of the sun shining down upon us to bring us these sort of financial, romantic, material kind of wealth and riches, right? This Sage of Worlds card says to me that there is an outside universal influence that is working with you. Now, the big clock up here is pulling my attention because I want to say to you, time on the other side, and this also came up in your previous reading, this message, is that time isn't linear on the other side, so don't get impatient. If some of this stuff takes time to come in, don't worry. Let it come in. Stay pure, stay connected to your spiritual self, stay connected to your guides, your guardian angels, whatever your spiritual center is throughout the month, and allow the universe to sort of work through you. Trust your spirit that it is bringing the energy of the sun and transformation to you. Yes, you can reflect back to the past and look at things that intuitively you knew maybe weren't correct or were inappropriate or were things that sort of didn't suit you or didn't acknowledge you in a certain way, but you're about to get that acknowledgement. This says to me that this acknowledgement is coming. This Master card here, this Sage of Worlds, and the Sun card says that your spirit wants to shine some light and acknowledge you also. Now, the next outside influence is the Six of Wands, which is trust. Again, another spirit card. Wands is the fiery energy of spirit, right? And this is the trust card. To me, this is also, like I just said in the previous thing about time and just allowing it to be and keeping in this purity, staying in this place of being connected to ourselves through spirit. This trust card here is there are going to be opportunities this month where you are going to need to trust not only yourself, but others and situations around you, that they are working to your benefit. Now, sometimes this can mean the shedding of things or the releasing of things that we thought were maybe going to be in our life forever, and also the realization of new things or allowing other people, ideas, places to be options to us, to move us to a place where we might, and I don't necessarily mean physically move us, but like just sort of move us into a position where we might be able to experience things that are a little bit more for our higher good. because of that, we may have to trust our intuitions, and again, this moon card says to me, she looks a little sad, she looks a little depressed. I think that possibly in the past when we've trusted our intuitions and we've been right, it's usually maybe been around a situation where we've been hurt. This is not that case, if that makes sense, guys. Like, this is the Sun and the MasterCard here and the trust situation. Yes, we might have to let go of a few things that we thought we were going to hold on to, but if we trust and we move forward in this purity throughout the month, in this spiritual connection, and in actively work like she is, with her head down, just doing her job and trusting her guides, trusting God, trusting that the time involved is the time that is needed to bring in the things that your spirit wants for yourself. If we stay in this place and we utilize this trust and take it in as a gift, we are going to be greatly rewarded, is how I feel the Scorpios are going to experience this, okay? Now, this last card is the potential outcome for the month of September. And when I say potential outcome, I mean that it's not set in stone. So with free will comes choice and change. And we can use this card, if it's sort of a negative, to use our free will to make choices and changes to affect the outcome. But if this is something that's beneficial or that we want to have happen, we can just kind of let things continue on as normal, and we will naturally progress towards this card by month's end, okay? Weird. Okay, so this is the Eight of Cups, which is stagnation. I'm not sure why this would be your month's end card. And this feels similar to the month's end card of the last reading that I did for you guys. It was like sort of everything was moving along. It was all about spiritual connection, and then boom, you went to the card of logic, which was the Four of Crystals. Here it's the Eight of Cups. Again, it is this, when I look at this stagnation card, Cups is the emotional suit. Cups is about holding on to things far too long. Are there going to be some of you, this is just a question now, this is not set in stone, guys, but are there going to be some of you that are going to have a hard time trusting and letting go? Are there going to be, and I said this same thing around the logic card because everything was about trusting spirit, and then boom, the logic card came up, which is not a bad thing, but it felt to me like you guys were going to step back in sort of fear, and I'm getting this same issue with this card here. Now, if I'm unable to upload this video, I'm not sure if Scorpios do a message this month, or maybe it's just for you guys to sort out. I will attempt to upload this video and see what happens, but this stagnation card says to me that it is very possible, if you guys aren't willing to trust and you aren't willing to come up out of whatever this sort of letdown is here from the moon and from your own knowledge, from your own, I don't know if it's it could be self-deception for some of you, it could be the invalidation of your own information and not moving forward on it, keeping it hidden, not trusting your own intuition and experiencing the ramifications of that. If you continue to do that to yourself and not trust and not move forward, you could end up by month's end in a place where you're feeling stuck, stagnant. You're not dead yet, right? I don't want you guys to think that it's an ending. What it is it's a little bit, to me, in my perception of these cards, it's a little bit of a harder lesson. By month's end, if we do end up in this place of stagnation, we're gonna have to look around and go, oh shit, we're still here and this still doesn't feel good. So somewhere, I feel like we lost contact with this Two of Wands. We lost contact with our spiritual self. We lost contact with our inner light. We lost contact with our guides. Not completely or not permanently, but we didn't return back to this place of spiritual purity, of this reminder that we deserve better, we can have more, we just need to trust the universe and ourselves and our intuitions and our own spirit, and let our spirit work through us to get us to this place of mastery and the sun and the sort of abundance that I do see in these cards. For some reason, this card here feels like a step backwards, in the sense that you might find yourself feeling stuck, yet what it's going to do is it's going to force you, if you do end up in this place, it will force you to have to look at some things that and release some things that you maybe weren't ready to let go of in the month of September. Okay? So, if any of you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave me a question or comment in the comments section. This is sort of similar to the message that was in the previous reading, but it has a little bit stronger connotation than the last time around as far as the cards are presenting. With the sun and the moon here, purity being as the center card when it was an outside influence originally, and then this stagnation being an emotional stagnation. To me, it feels like you guys need to trust yourselves and release some old stuff that isn't working for you anymore. And it may be around memories or relationships or emotional things that you have to let go of so that you can move forward. And when you do let go of them, you will move forward in a very beautiful and abundant way. I want you to know that. It just depends on how fast you choose to do that. This card here is sort of the slowing down of that process. Okay? It's not an ending, it's not a bad card. It just says that you might stay stuck a little bit longer trying to realize. For some of you, not all of you, there's a high chance that some of you might feel obligations to, say, family or relationships, jobs, situations that are no longer serving you, that you're not trusting and finding your way out of, or re-establishing your relationship with those people, those places, those things that are not serving you. And you know what they are, because you guys are highly intuitive, and you know that you need to bring that to the surface and live from that place in a pure way. Okay, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it makes sense. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comments section. Also, please feel free, if you like the reading, to subscribe. There will be a mid-month live video that I do for all of the signs, which is just a pull of like 3 cards where we will see what's happened mid-month and how the energies may have shifted or changed through the choices that we make. So those are always factors in all of this. And check out my pick a card videos, my daily forecast, all the stuff on the channel. I have a business page over on Facebook. I do personal readings. If you're interested, you can feel free to message me there. And there's a small group of people that have created a great community over there that you can certainly feel free to ask to join. And I look forward to hearing all about your month of September. And I look forward to you guys hopefully trusting and moving forward in such a way that you achieve all the abundance that I actually see in these cards and all the beauty that is available to you. Have a good day. Bye.